All right, we're back here on SportsLine talking Titans and the direction they are going. Not just the final 3 weeks of this season, but well into the offseason tonight. Good phone calls here. 737-7767 is the number. We got a few lines remaining open here in this final segment. Let's go to Patrick. Patrick, good evening. You're next up.
Hey, and this is Patrick. I live in Portland, Tennessee. I'm a through and through Titans fan. And I hate to say this, but I hope that the Titans will lose out, and so we can get another good draft pick for next year, and maybe Henry from Alabama, and like you said earlier, maybe a guard or a tackle, and maybe in the second and third round, maybe we could pick up a couple of good defensive backs, and I think in a year or so the Titans would have a contentional team.
Appreciate the call, Patrick. No question, drafting is going to be very important for this team. He mentioned a lot of things there. You don't have a lot of picks to do that, even if you get the number one pick, which would then give you number one likely in round 2 as well. The Titans are going to have to make the most of those picks, and I think that's the interesting thing this year. We sort of discussed it last year, and ultimately they decided to go with Mariota. If you get the number one pick this year and you don't need a quarterback, is there a need that you absolutely believe you have to have if you're the Titans, and you don't think you can get it anywhere else, that you have to take at number one? Or would you consider dealing that number one pick this year and trying to load up on some picks? You know, for instance, I think Jalen Ramsey is a great product. I think Vernon Hargreaves would be a great product. Could you somehow get a situation where you could land a couple of first-round picks for the number one and maybe shore up a couple of those positions? That's an interesting thing if the Titans would indeed lose out, and if they do, they would have that number one pick this year. Let's go to Ken. Ken, good evening. You're on SportsLine.
Stephen.
Ken, what's up?
Man, it's good to have you back. You haven't missed a step.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Jonathan Hutton did a real good job.
He did a great job, didn't
he? Yeah, and it gave us a real good opportunity to gnaw it off the Harsky a little bit, too, so try to get him straightened out.
It's always good.
But anyway, I think of it, you know, you hear the NFL, and they keep talking about it as this is a business. This is a business decision, and this, that, and the other. And I kind of thought about it as a business. If they're going to hire a new coach, imagine this in a business situation. The guy comes in, they're going to make him the CEO. Mm-hmm. And he's got an organization here that's going bankrupt. And all of a sudden, everybody there makes a lot more money than you do, and you can't fire nobody. That's an awful, awful situation to be put in. So, you know, that coaching situation is horrible. It just, I just don't understand how it can possibly work until the owners of the team. I think it goes all the way to, they always say this, it always goes to the top. And I think that's been the problem from ever since Steve McNair left. But anyway, I hope that they do well, but I think they got 2 chances winning a game or 2 from now to the end of the season, and that's slim and none, and Slim just left town. So.
Yeah, Ken, it's difficult to see it based off of the schedule left, and we appreciate the call. I think the difficult thing that you talk about, the hierarchy, whenever you're taking over these players, a lot of them are making just as much money as you are and have some significant power at that point. How do you get them to play for you, I think, is what makes coaches really good. When you have a good coach, you have a good plan, you convince these guys that your plan and your style is going to win for them. It's going to send them to Pro Bowls. It's going to do all the things that they want to do with their career. And that's been lost around here over the last couple of years. I think Mike Mularkey's done a better job with that. I think this is a team and a locker room that is more together now than they have been in the last couple of years. Now, whether that's going to make any difference in these final 3 games, we're yet to find out. But that's a tough thing because they've got to get everybody back on board moving forward, no question. Hello, Jack. You're next up. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I'm glad to hear you back, and I'm glad to hear that old voice rumbling through there, and some knowledge and everything come back in there. What I got to say is I don't hope you don't take it personal, but the Titans have been on the wrong foot because you don't keep no cornerback like Griffin almost 10 years on the team. That's worse than Troy Polamalu, and they ain't even trying to get him or get his advice on how to play defense, even though he got concussion. But I think they keep on recycling these coaches, but they don't reach out to the college kids here local, and that's why my son and all the rest of these kids got discouraged here in the SEC. They kept going way out to Oregon, New York, and Montana and everywhere else, but they kept overlooking these local kids. And the Titans going to be jinxed for a long time for the way they treated past players like Steve McNair and all of them. I think they need to get another coach in there, defensive-wise. We don't need the whole Pittsburgh Steelers coach, Bill Carr and all of them here. That's just swapping out bad for bad. But I think I like Malarkey. He's straightforward. He tells it like it is, and he don't hold back. And he turns into those players like I used to play football. They turn to you when you're wrong and tell you what you need to do right. And I like it about him.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's taken a straightforward approach with these guys, and I think he's been more understanding. He's been more on their side as opposed to a sheriff in the locker room and in the team room around there, and I think that's important. The Titans are going to face an interesting offseason because they're going to have a lot of decisions to make. They're going to have to pick the course they're going to go with this coaching staff. And frankly, now this decision is going to chart the course of what you're doing with Marcus Mariota offensively and where this franchise is going. And then you're going to have to make significant decisions in the draft with a high pick. Maybe not number 1, but a very high pick. Do you package it and trade to try to stockpile picks to absorb a lot of those needs that you have? Or where do you focus in this draft to try to build around Mariota and others? Those are the key questions for this team as they head into the offseason in 2016. Time for our final break. We'll be right back after this.